Okay, welcome to Tile Coach. I'm Isaac Ostrom. Thanks for checking out another one of my videos. I'm a licensed tile and general B contractor here in Northern California. Today we're at a new job, so excited to bring you a new job, some new footage. And we're out in the country here in Northern California, east of Sacramento, up in the foothills of the Sierra Nevada. So beautiful countryside home. They have cows, they have llamas, they have goats, they have dogs, they have cats. This is just kind of a cool little country house that we're working on here. A lot of you guys, when you think of California, you think of beach or San Francisco or LA, but actually we have a lot of rural area here in Northern California, a lot of farmland and a lot of free spirits. So anyways, we're working on this bathroom. So the story behind this bathroom was a contractor actually built this house, and the owners that own it now purchased it directly from a contractor. So I'm really surprised to see some of this stuff that a contractor did. So this is a licensed contractor who built this house, and this just goes to show that just because someone is a licensed contractor doesn't mean they should be doing a lot of the finish work like tile. That's kind of a different thing. Framing a house is one thing, doing finished tile and plumbing is a totally different. So I'm just going to point out some of the things that they could have done a lot better at so that you guys can learn. Sometimes it's a lot easier to learn from what not to do than from what to do. So check this out. The first thing I noticed was the way they finished out this travertine. So this is a travertine tile. Travertine was real popular about 10 years ago. We just did a huge job where we had tore out over 1,000 feet of travertine flooring. I'll put that card up so you can see it. But travertine was real popular, I'd say about 10 years ago is kind of when they stopped using it. But they didn't finish the edges, and travertine's really easy to finish the edges. You can use sandpaper and sand down the edges and round it, but look at this. They took grout and just smeared grout along the edge and just gave it kind of a real rough finish. I mean, and the grout is kind of smeared. It's just, when I see stuff like that, I go, wow, somebody didn't know what they were doing and kind of just pulled a fast one. The second thing I see here is a lot of lippage on the tile. And lippage is when one tile is sticking out past another. So this wall, besides being way out of plumb, let's see where plumb is. Plumb is going to give us, so that's a plumb surface. We're almost a 1/4 inch out of plumb, over 6 feet. But the main thing, you know, I'm okay with things being out of plumb, but you want it flat and you want no lippage in between the tiles. So we got some big lippage. There's actually still grout haze on a lot of this tile. I don't know if you can see that, Ronnie, but there's up here, like this is actual grout haze. That's actually grout haze. It's still coming off. So, you know, if this is a 15-year-old bathroom, it still has the original grout haze that they didn't clean it up very well. So that's that thing. Another thing that I noticed was this tub is made for an acrylic kit with fiberglass walls. So you can see they have this tiled, and the flange is coming up, and they just tiled right to the top of the flange. So these are made to have panels that go over them. As you know, when you tile, you're supposed to tile all the way to the tub over the lip of the tub, or lip of the flange. And then you see how this has a radius corner right here? Again, this is part of the acrylic wall kit that had a radius corner in it. Same thing over here. And what they did is they just kind of smeared it in with grout. So that is not how that is meant to finish. And then they're way proud of it on this side. So again, I don't know if this was something where they got a tub, you know, maybe they got it on sale. And I have a lot of clients that will ask me, you know, they go, well, can I purchase my own plumbing fixtures? And you know, that's a tough one, because a lot of times they'll find something online or on sale, and the reason it's for sale, and the reason it's on sale is because it goes to a kit and maybe it didn't have the wall. So somebody buys a tub, they put it in, you go to tile it, and it's the wrong tub. So if we're not supplying the plumbing fixtures, I always send them to Ferguson or another good plumbing shop that can steer them in the right direction, as opposed to them just flying blind, ordering things on the internet, stuff like that. So anyways, that's the wrong tub. Hopefully there's no water damage from it. It looks like a pretty lightly used bathroom. So I doubt there'll be any water damage, but that's definitely the wrong tub. And here's another thing with the toilet here. So we have a 5-foot opening here. As you can see, the space between the toilet and the wall is really narrow. You shouldn't have to walk around the toilet like this. Look how far the toilet is off the wall there. So you can see we have almost 5 inches of wasted space. I mean, if you had a gap of 1 inch or 1/2 inch is about right. Usually they end up about 1/2 inch. So they have 5 inches. This is an elongated bowl too, so that's why it's coming out. But they could this should have ended right here, which would have created a lot more usable space coming through here. And so to just have the toilet kind of jutting out into the bathroom means, again, the contractor put his rough in for the toilet wrong. He's got a 16-inch rough off of here, and typical is 12, I believe. So yeah, so what we're gonna do with this toilet, they didn't want to pay to have everything jackhammered and moved back. But what we can do is we can use an offset flange. They have these little offset flanges that will offset it, I think, up to 2 inches, or it's 1.5 inches. And that'll at least give us a little bit room to go back. But the side to side is good, or you need 15 on center to either side, plenty of room here. But yeah, seeing the toilet kind of jutted out in the middle of the room is really, you know, kind of a bummer. As a matter of fact, when we tear it out, if there's a way for us to kind of easily push it back more, we'll try to get that toilet back. So I think what I want to do is I want to see what they put behind the wall. I'm just going to knock a couple tiles off. Okay, let's see how well they installed the tile. Okay, so they actually had pretty decent mortar coverage. There wasn't a big hollow void in here. And it looks like they went over Hardibacker. So good thin set coverage, so not a bad job installing that tile. So here you can see this little groove right here. That's for the acrylic wall panel to lock into. They silicone, they put a sealant, lock the panel into this, and that all finishes out flush with this line right here. So as you can see, this is the wrong application for tile, and they had Hardibacker. So the Hardibacker looks like it was installed good, and decent mortar coverage. I mean, I'm saying decent, this is probably a little over 50% coverage. You're supposed to have, I think you're supposed to have 95% in a wet area. So they didn't quite make it on their coverage, but as you can see, I had to really beat the tile to get it out. Travertine in itself usually gets a pretty good bond. It's porous and it grabs, so but yeah, a little bit of lack of coverage, but it's not horrible. I've seen a lot worse.
Okay, so yeah, it looks like, let's see.
Actually, it looks like what they did, it looks like, again, it looks like they used 1/4 inch Hardibacker. So it looks like they had drywall up, and then they put 1/4 inch Hardibacker, and that's why we have this big gap here too. So probably the correct installation would have had no drywall here, 1/2 inch Hardibacker screwed to the studs, and then tile. Instead they did drywall, 1/4 inch Hardibacker, and they didn't thin set the 1/4 inch Hardibacker to the wall. They just screwed it with these screws, and it looks like they used the wrong fasteners. These are just drywall screws. So you want to use backer board screws when you do this, because otherwise they'll rust out. And you can see a little bit of rust forming even from the lack of usage on this. These fasteners are rusted out here, right here, and right here. But yeah, so they just used regular drywall screws. So let's see if I can give you a good picture of what happened here. See if I can take the gut off. See, there you go. So now you see drywall, 1/4 inch Hardibacker. But again, if you were going to use 1/4 inch Hardibacker, you would have to thin set it to the wall. And it's not. So this might make for an easier tear out for you, Ronnie. Yeah, so there's all that grout. So to finish this, you know, there could have been a lot of ways that you could have finished this. We would have capped it with a piece of tile, or at least put a plug in there, sanded down and polished the edge of the travertine. But yeah, that's what they did there. So let's see what happens if... See, if I was on a stud, let me see if there's a stud. Let's see, I might be able to do something here. Okay, so if I can get on a stud, I might be able to pry this whole thing. See, look. See, look at that. The whole wall is going to come off with the Hardibacker. The whole thing's moving, so. You know, on a wall, I don't think there would have been ever an issue with movement and stuff, but it's just done incorrectly. And that's what I'm trying to point out, that, you know, the fact that there's drywall behind it isn't great, but there's no waterproofing. So again, if this got a lot of use, Hardibacker isn't waterproof, so it would eventually soaked up water. Hardibacker actually has cellulose fibers in it, so it will actually suck up water like paper does. That would have gone back into the drywall, started to rot things out. And again, I just think this was a guest bath. Just a couple lives here. They're expecting their first child here in a couple months. So we're trying to get this wrapped up before the baby comes. But it's just been them two. I think they washed their dog in here. But yeah, not a whole lot of use in here. If this was a heavily used shower, travertine is porous, Hardibacker's porous, and drywall, of course, is porous. So no waterproofing. And so if they were to use 1/4 inch Hardibacker over drywall, again, I would have used a thin set to adhere it, screwed it off with the correct fasteners, and then put a topical waterproofing over it like Red Guard or Ardex 8+9, Laticrete Hydro Band, and then put your tile on. All right, so we're gonna go back in with actually a freestanding tub, so the whole tub's coming out. We're gonna go wainscoting height. We're not gonna have a shower head anymore. It's gonna be a wall mount tub filler into a freestanding cast iron tub. It's a real cool old-fashioned tub. And then we're just gonna repair the drywall and texture from wainscoting height up. Because you can see this kind of gives it like a caved look. I mean, this is such a 10-foot ceiling. I don't like going all the way to the ceiling and on 10-foot ceilings. It just, to me, it looks like a skinny little cave that everything's out of proportion. But so yeah, we're gonna fix the drywall up, new tub, new fixtures. We're doing all the flooring in here, new vanity, new countertop. So this is gonna be a really neat bathroom. You're not gonna wanna miss the other videos coming up. So make sure to watch the next video coming up. If you like this video, click like and subscribe. Otherwise, watch that next video coming up. And last but not least, I love you guys and I love being your tile coach. We'll see you on the next video.